Yeah, I'll just go. All right, well, thank you guys so much for coming. I was told I only had 2 hours, so I'll try to be quick. No, I know the Cowboys are playing right now, and I'm just going to say if you don't have, I don't know, but if you don't have DVR in this day and age, that's on you, all right? So that is one of God's gifts to us as mankind. So I'm really excited to be here. Once again, my name's John Gryglewicz, and I can't help it. I haven't preached in a real long time, so I have to start with jokes. I have an audience. You've given me the mic. So first off, I want to say the church looks great. You guys have gone through a lot of changes since we were last here 3 years ago. Looks great. My wife and I have gone through changes also. My beautiful, wonderful wife has gone all gray now. It's a great look, right? I'm catching up. I'm going gray too. We've added another kid. Things are changing, but the church looks great. The church looks great. We're a little beaten down, no. My wife is beautiful. I don't want you guys to think like there's problems or anything. She knew what she was getting into when she married me. And also, I just want to say kudos on the pronunciation of our last name. Wow, we had 2 people that you did a great job, and Roland did a great job. So thank you so much. We are missionaries that are supported by you. You guys are actually our sending church. And so what happened was about 3.5 years ago, my wife and I, we knew we wanted to go to Haiti. My wife, before we married, she had lived there for 3 years. And when she was visiting the U.S., I met her. She's from Dallas, and I met her. And I remember talking to her, and I was a youth pastor at the time, and I said, would you ever, just out of curiosity, you're in Haiti, you're serving the Lord, you're at a school, but if you met a guy, would that sway you in moving back to the U.S., because, men are the leader, And my wife, full of sass that I love so much, said, if I meet a guy, he better want to move to Haiti to be with me. And I was like, okay, all right, I like this, all right? Not intimidated at all. All right, so we ended up getting married, if you don't know, spoiler alert, and we always had a passion for Haiti, and so there was several opportunities for us to get involved in Haiti, and then one time on Facebook we saw a post for a position with Resonate Global Mission, which is the ministry of the CRCNA, and we said, great, this looks awesome, and we said, let's apply, because this position you don't even have to raise money, and it says that they prefer it if you're from a CRC church or a Reformed background. I'm Reformed. I said, we're not in a CRC church, but I'm Reformed. That's not a problem. And I was currently working on my degree, and I said, look, they prefer if you have a degree, but it's not a requirement. So I applied, and the recruiter called me back. They said, okay, so what CRC church do you go to? I say, I don't go to a CRC currently. I'm a youth pastor at a non-denominational church, but I am Reformed. They said, oh, you have to be CRC. And I went, well, that was in the preference. They go, yeah, that's our mistake. It's a requirement. I went, oh, okay, well, are we done? They go, well, let's just see. And she said, well, tell us about your degree. What's your degree? And I said, well, funny thing, I'm working towards that also. They said, oh, that's a requirement too. I said, no, it's on the preferences. They said, that's a mistake again. And I went, what? And I said, okay, I'm out. They said, well, let's just see. So it's like, I felt like I was reluctantly hired on, right? But it was great. And so they said, we got to get you connected with the CRC church. They said, there's one in Stephenville. And I said, I know Stephenville. I have a good friend who lives here. And they said, yeah, and there's this young, hip, cool couple, the Tarpies. And so I said, oh, okay, yeah. He's bald. I like bald people, So we met in Weatherford, and we kind of talked and shared, and we became fast friends. And it was kind of that. It was almost like an arranged marriage, right? Like we were like, are we good enough to be a part of Stephenville CRC. You know, like, will they accept us? Come on, let's have our best face forward, you know. And it was just a great match. And so we've been friends with the Tarpies, and then they betrayed and left us. And Desiree, that was the only amen she gave all morning. And so we've connected with several of you, but really with Roland and Desiree, and you guys have been great, and we've just really been appreciative of you guys. And so this morning I want to share with you a little bit of what's happening in Haiti. You know, while my wife and I were at the grocery store, I had to pick up some things, and I said, listen, we're in Haiti, but I know a lot of things have been going on in the U.S., controversial things we wanted to stay away from, you know, elections, you know, vaccination mandates. We don't, I was like, we don't want to talk about that when we're at Stephenville. We just want to kind of, as missionaries, you need to know your audience and kind of stay away from hot topic buttons. So, at the grocery store, we were picking up some almond milk. And so we went and, that's pretty good, right? 7 out of 10? 7 out of 10? Oh, tough crowd. All right. So anyways, that was just a joke too. So, no? Yeah? All right, yeah. Don't worry. No almonds were harmed in the getting of that milk, okay? No. Right. Okay, let's get serious here. All right, this is church. You can't have fun. All right, so what I want to do is just kind of try to catch you up. There's been too much happening to be able to use the time we have and watch the Cowboys game. So just so you know, like I said, about 3.5 years we moved to Haiti, and about 4 months into our stay there, the World Cup was going on, and Haiti loves Brazil as the World Cup. Now, I know you guys are in Texas, all right? So we're not going to talk about football or soccer, right? But it's a pretty big sport worldwide, and Haiti loves Brazil because in the 90s, Brazil was only one of the biggest teams to come to Haiti and actually play there. So they won their hearts, and Brazil's really good, and we all love cheering for good teams. So Haiti was watching the Brazilians play, and during that game, the president decided to take away the subsidy on gas, all right? So what was going on was the World Bank said, if you want to get some help from us with some loans, like $70 million, $120 million, you have to become more fiscally responsible. One of the things you need to do is you need to stop paying a subsidy for gas. The population needs to control it. Well, in a population where the average income is $2 a day, removing that subsidy, gas prices went up 34% for gas and something like, 45% for diesel. So the guy pumping gas couldn't even, after working a day, couldn't even buy a gallon of gas, after this subsidy. So the president gave this announcement during the Brazil game, and Brazil lost. And that set off they call it a manifestation in Creole, Haitian Creole, the language there, manifestation, rioting, right? And the whole country shut down. And over the next couple days, everything was shut down. There was there was like 300 what do they call them? Roadblocks. Thank you. Roadblocks in the streets. We were hunkered down. And since that time, more and more stuff has been happening where the government has been accused of mishandling $2 billion that was supposed to be for infrastructure. It's gone. The president systematically was dismantling the government where he didn't hold election for senators. He wanted to change the Constitution, but he couldn't do that because you can only do that if Senate is in quorum. But because there were no senators, he was doing what he wanted. Then he got assassinated. Then the guy who was supposed to take over died of COVID 5 weeks earlier. So then the prime minister, who had said he was just going to leave, he was in place. But the new prime minister, who was chosen by the president 5 days before he was assassinated, was supposed to be elected in. But we don't know if that was it's just mayhem. On top of that, double-digit inflation. When we moved to Haiti, they have a goud as their currency. It was 68 gouds per dollar. It's up to 110 now. So in 3 years, the prices have doubled. Kidnappings in the past year and a half have risen. There's more kidnappings in Haiti than Bogota, Mexico City, and San Paulo combined. The gangs are out of control because the government is in chaos and the police aren't supported. I mean, it's just been nuts. And I feel like every couple of months I've said to myself, and when I've talked to people, it's been really hard to kind of describe what's going on because I say, it can't get any worse. And a couple months later, it gets worse. And so it's been a real roller coaster. And so for 2 years, we've been in lockdown. And you'll have to forgive me because I actually celebrated when the U.S. went in lockdown. I was like, they'll understand what it's like, right? And then we had more lockdown, and I was like, that's not right. I shouldn't be celebrating in other people's misery. But it's been miserable, and I know it's been hard here too. And really, COVID was the least of our worries. And actually, I know I'm talking a lot here. I'm just trying to get through everything just to kind of paint a picture. New York City has 68,000 people per square mile. In Port-au-Prince, there's 88,000 people per square mile. There you go. And so it is very, very packed, very, very crowded, and we barely had any impact on COVID. People were writing articles. Scientists couldn't explain it. And then this past March, we went like a whole year with like barely any impact. Then March, it kind of flew through Haiti. So we had COVID too. And so it's just been a difficult, difficult time. But through it all, God still works, right? And so there's been great, great things. So let me tell you a little bit about what we do in Haiti. My wife works at a Christian school that was started for missionary kids in the 70s. But it's kind of changed where now the bourgeois or the elite, the top 1%, a lot of them are going to send their kids to the U.S. for college education. So what they'll do is they want them to understand the English system of school and know English. So actually there's more Haitian kids at this school now than actually Americans. And it is a Christian school, but it's a great mission field because all these kids from the upper class Haitians go to this school. The president's kids went there, senators go there, business owners go there, and Kim, one of her testimonies from 14 years ago when I first met her and she was teaching at that school, we've been able to connect with a lot of those kids who have gone on and who have inherited their parents' businesses. So it's really an opportunity where when you go to Haiti, a lot of time you're working with the majority of the population who are poor. And a lot of ministries are to the poor, but this is actually a ministry to those who have the most influence. So it's been a really, really wonderful experience. Now that we have our third child, though, this next year she won't be working at the school. Well, this year is happening. She's not working at the school. But our daughters will continue to go there. And then me and my work, I have an office in Port-au-Prince. I feel like I want to move a little bit, but okay. I have an office in Port-au-Prince, and I work for Resonate Global Mission, but we also share that office with World Renew. Do you guys know World Renew? So the way I describe it to people is Resonate is a missionary organization, and we work with churches, youth, and leadership development. World Renew is kind of the hands and feet, right? They do disaster relief and disaster response. And so we work in the same building. We split the cost of the office. Some staff we share, like there's a secretary that we both use. There's a financial manager that we both use. And a lot of my work is administrative. And there's 3 big programs that we work with. Number 1 is the CRC of Haiti. Haiti has a CRC denomination. It's registered with the government, and they have about 43 churches. Not only that, but they have a seminary there that trains pastors. And so it's called the Église Chrétienne Réformée d'Haïti, which is ECRH, which is ACRH in Haitian Creole. I hope you guys were really impressed by that. And so we work with them. Some of the things we do is they have churches all over in Haiti. There's 9 regions. They're kind of like counties, all right? And they're all over Haiti. And I have a quick video. This is the YouTube one. Can we show that one? This is a video I sent because one of the things we do at the church is we build churches. So in this video, I tried to be cool and hip and make a vlog, all right? For those of you who don't know what that means, that's a video vlog, okay? And I'm a little embarrassed of it, honestly, but this can just show you a little bit of the countryside. I did film vertical in some of it. You can tell my my beginner level of vlogging, but I hope you can see this well. Maybe we could do lights. Can we do lights? Would that help it some? Just clap. Okay. And oh, hey, that's not it. We got a little delay. No, that's pretty. Okay.
All right, it's
my daughter
about
thinks
5:40ish, somewhere around there. We're in Port-au-Prince. Today I'm going to be going to the community of Baye-Lundi in Miragouane. We're going to be looking because we're entering into a church construction project with them. So this is going to be my video vlog of the day. I hope you enjoy. Video number 1. Alright, we picked up 3 people. Beneja, Madame Erwin, Edwanis, and we're on the road. We're at a police stop now, so I'm taking a quick video. It is, what time is it? 9?
Not yet.
8:54. We just made it to the first church. This is where the church is going to be built, right up there. This is the current church and school. I came to this church the first week I was in Haiti. We're picking up a pastor and he's going to take us to Fond-des-Blancs.
Oui, ma pour me capable. Ça veut dire tout ça que barre là c'est bon. Seulement, ça me m'exote ici. Où t'as pour notre génération.
That's it? Okay, we're in Fond-des-Blancs. I got everyone behind me. They're talking about where the new church will go. We're in this beautiful community. This is where the current church is. You can see we're in the lower part mountains. So there's where the current church is, and the new church will be in this little field here.
Base l'église là, ça veut dire qu'on mettait poteau, nous mettait poutre et puis nous coulé. Bon, d'après dernier ça a besoin de savoir c'est une construction dalle à pied, nous avons bénéficié dalle là, mais mieux. Macadam, what business effort? 30-40 on let dalle même.
So that's just a little showing. So we've actually built those 2 churches. Those were 2 different locations. And we do churches, and we're going to do 2 more this year. So one of the things that you guys indirectly support by supporting us being there is the churches will be about 30 by 50. We do the foundation, a concrete foundation, concrete columns, and a concrete roof. And the church is responsible, the community is responsible for the walls, the doors, and the windows. And so it's a partnership there. Those two churches were near where the earthquake happened several weeks ago. And the churches that we build, you got to think it's kind of like small cities in Texas 75 years ago where the church is the center of the community. So in these churches, you'll have the school. Tuesday night will be political meeting night. If there's hurricanes coming, people will come to that place because that'll be the safest shelter. And they're hurricane and earthquake resistant. And so all of the churches we built, none of them got destroyed or damaged in the recent earthquake. So we're really proud of that. And then even those churches, people were staying in them because most people's houses were destroyed during that time. So that's an example of us partnering with the CRC Church of Haiti. We also do pastoral training. I don't have a master's. Remember the whole working on the degree thing? Okay. But previous missionaries who have been there, they've worked at the seminary as professors and on staff there. So we have a great relationship with the CRC of Haiti. The second ministry we work with is MDCA, which stands for the Ministry of Developing Christians, and this is a leadership program. They do Timothy leadership training. Have you guys ever heard of Timothy leadership training? Okay, that's something that the CRC here does in the U.S., and they also have their own program, and it just helps churches with leadership development, how pastors can be a part of their community. Haiti is very, very conservative, right? It's a conservative country. People will be turned away if they don't dress right for church. People will be, it's very moralistic. And so we help pastors say, how can you be not just a church, but a church in the community, a church of the community? How can you be outside of just your walls? So there's great things going on with MDCA. And the last one is Impact Clubs. And Impact Clubs, it's like Young Life. Have you guys ever heard of Young Life? It's like Young Life, but the kids' number one rule is we have fun. Number two is there's going to be a lesson, but it's going to be learning by doing. It will never be like this, like me talking about how to do something. It will say, okay, everybody, let's do this. Here's what we're going to do this project. And all the kids get in groups and they learn by doing. And they learn how to be a good citizen. They learn how to be involved in their community. And they learn how to find a problem and write a proposal to fix the problem. And every 6 months, a club has a responsibility to do a community project. It can be something from, for example, we had a impact club in a community called Dorval. And the river the community used, everybody was just using the river. And they said, well, you have the cattle using the front, you got people washing clothes, people drinking, people bathing. They said, here's what we're going to do. They met with the community leaders. They wrote a proposal. They said, okay, we're going to mark it so the top third of the river is where you can get drinking water and bathe. The middle third will be where you wash clothes. The bottom third will be for animals. And that's a project where they didn't need money. They didn't need other people. They didn't need blanc, which is white people, right? Blanc. They didn't need me to come in and say, here I am to save this community. Let me show you what you need to do, right? It's investing in the youth. And listen to this. 50%, over 50%, something like 52 or 53 of Haiti's population, 10 million people, is under the age of 25. 50%. So we have about 500 kids in impact clubs all over, and they do projects. Here's a quick video, another video that I'm embarrassed of my voiceover, okay? So judge it, all right? And this describes impact clubs, and it's like a little woohoo thing. All right, here you go.
Impact clubs are a wonderful way for students in a community to get involved and take an active part in their community. We have 20 clubs and around 400 students who participate. Impact clubs have 3 main goals. The first one is to have fun. We want this to be an environment where students can come and have a great time. Every meeting starts with games or activities that welcomes the students and makes sure everyone is smiling. If you come to Impact clubs, you will have fun. The second thing is to be actively involved in the community. It is a requirement for every club to do 1 community service project a quarter. This is something that the students have to think of, plan for, and execute using the assets that they have. The last thing we do is raise leaders. There is a curriculum we follow that trains leaders who then teach the students how to execute their community project. This training helps students reinforce the ideas of community responsibility, leadership, stewardship, and relationship skills. We are proud of our investment in the youth of Haiti through Impact Clubs. We want to see Haitians changing Haiti, and we are grateful for the ways you have partnered with us in this endeavor through prayers, interest, and your financial gifts. Together, we will see the future leaders of Haiti at work in their homes, schools, and churches. Thank you.
All right, so those are the 3 big programs we have. And then the last thing is we're involved in our church in Haiti. Our church is called Rendezvous l'Église. Rendezvous meaning meeting. And it's a great thing. I'm a part of the preaching team there. And it's a wonderful church. It's a trilingual church where we sing songs in Haitian Creole, French, and English. Most of the preaching is done in Creole. And when I preach, I have an interpreter, except when I tell jokes, I always make sure I know the Creole enough to tell the joke in Creole. So it's just it's a great church. It's actually exploding. So they were started just, I think, 6 years ago. They're up to 2 services, maybe I think around 2,500 people that go to the church. There's 2. They've planted another church in Haiti. They've planted a church in Bradenton, Florida. They planted a church in Irving, Texas. So these are and one. There's 5 total. Somewhere in the world, there's another one. And so the leader there, what I most love is, once again, this is a Haitian pastor that's leading it, who has a vision. He's great leadership, and he has a goal to do 10 churches in the next couple of years. So it's the church we're part of is really the rounding out the last area that we involved in ministry there. So even though there's been tons of challenges, there's been tons of time where we're stuck at our house, locked down, a lot of problems, as you know, with the president being assassinated, nobody knowing what's next. Even now, they don't know what will happen with the government and what's happening. We still see God moving as he can. And it's really been, and I think most people can say this, it's really been amazing when, you go to give and you're blessed while giving, right? And as we've been there, just learning from the people, the relationships we have, seeing Haitians living out their faith under this environment. I have a passport. I can leave whenever I want. If there's trouble, the president's assassinated, we can come here, we can have our daughter, we can have better health care, we can, but they can't go anywhere. They can't go anywhere, and so it's been really interesting. Last thing I'll say, and then I want to allow you guys to ask questions or hurl insults or whatever you want to do. since the beginning, it was the plan of the Tarpies and I to get you guys to come down and see, and we can do a trip and all of that. But we've been on a level 4 travel advisory for the entire time we've been down there, along with Afghanistan, Iraq, and other countries, and North Korea, I think, are the 4. So it's been very challenging. So because of that reason, maybe there would have been stories of me coming up here in another alternate universe of us saying, hey, look at the place we went to and look at this stuff, but it just hasn't worked out. And so I know some of you guys have asked about that, and that's part of the reason why there's been no movement on that front. So maybe one day when we get back to a level 3, maybe, are you all comfortable with the 3? There's only 4, but maybe she's like, yeah, we'll do something. So I wanted to allow you guys to ask questions because, like I said, I'm a pastor. You can't trust me with time, okay? I can keep going for forever, and I know the Cowboys are on, and they're most important on Sunday. So that's a joke. Okay, that's a joke. All right. Any questions you guys have for me? Oh, and normally you guys really got second best. Normally my wife would be speaking some, and she's way better than me. She speaks English even better, not only Creole but English. And I always feel stupid compared to her. It's like we are there, and she's using words that I don't even know. So sorry about that. Yes.
Explain a little bit about the people that are fleeing utterance.
Yeah.
What's all behind it?
A little. So the same. I told you that it's too much. It's a complicated answer, but some of the things that play into it is a lot of the people that you're seeing coming to the Texas border have been in South America for several years. So a lot of them have come when the Rio Olympics were happening. They were hiring cheap labor, so a lot of Haitians went and worked during the Olympics time, and they've made their way. And then I've also read, I don't know, how much of this is true, but I've read from several sources saying that there was a manipulation in communication to a lot of Haitians in South America saying, we can get you across if you come. And that just spread like fire on WhatsApp, and which is the messaging service everybody outside of the U.S. uses. So it's like it's free text, basically. So because of that misinformation, I think they were people were saying, we can get you there, give us $5,000, it's open, go to this location. Word just spread, and they're saying, hey, we can get to America. And I think some of it had to do with the TPS, the Temporary Protective Service, that was extended to Haitians in Florida if you were already in the U.S. before July 29th. So they said, we're extending TPS for those Haitians in Florida, and it was not communicated maybe that you already had to be in the U.S., and our borders aren't open. So I think all of that had to play into it. And the fact that there's a pervasive feeling in Haiti with all that's going on. Young people are saying to themselves, there's no future here. There's nothing here. You can't have a business without problems. You can't, everything's so corrupt. Our government is nowhere. Gangs are happening. People are kidnapping. Just last week, and it's not like the U.S., we know that there's violence in Chicago every week, right? But that's over there. That's not affecting us here. But in Haiti, it's an island, right? It's small. And when something happens, it's like it's happening in Dublin. And it's like, oh, yeah, I know those people there. So when people are kidnapped, this past weekend, they tried to kidnap a lady right outside the church. Her husband tried to defend him. They killed him and took the lady. And the people we work with, it's like, yeah, I know him. I was mentored by him. So it's like everything really hits close to home. And so they're under so much pressure. Part of that is just saying, I'll go anywhere if I think it's better. And so I think that it's preying on weak people, I think, with that messaging of just come, yeah, you can enter right in. But I'm sure there's more. There's more to it.
And to go back.
Yes, so I am, there's a organization that's into planting churches, I'm going to go to a conference there. So I'm going to Haiti on the 6th in 5 days. 3, 4, somewhere? Okay, Wednesday. See, can I get an amen for good wives? You guys need to be loud right now. This is easy points for you, all right? Just say amen, and your wives will be like, yes, okay. You can't have that cookie later, okay? Yeah, so I go Wednesday for 10 days, and then I'll come back. And what we're doing is we're waiting for our passport for our new daughter. So we expect to get that sometime in October, so we'll be back in November. The gang mentality? Here, why don't you share? You get to. Well, it doesn't. So we want to hear from you.
Well, the office that he's been in that resonate back when it was World Mission, it was started 35 years ago, and the same office that they've been in was actually around the corner from the school that I taught at. And again, they'd been there for 30 years. And so just kind of an example of how close the problems hit to where just all over Haiti or all over Port-au-Prince, even where we are, there's a community behind his office. And for years, the office has supported that community in a variety of ways. One way was they helped pay for the paving of the road into the community. They've helped fund, they have a big soccer tournament. There's a dirt field in the cul-de-sac where the office is. They've helped fund things for that. They've participated. They put a container store for a container store, not the container store, but they put a container there, and there's a woman who has made a shop out of it who used to be next to their wall. So they've really invested in that community. But the young men of the community, just in exasperation, just being frustrated, seeing the ability of gangs to have things done, seeing how they can use violence and threats. This was last fall. The office started to have threats from young men in the community who said, you need to get us jobs, you need to do this for us. And they, again, they've invested in this community. They started harassing the Haitian staff, slashing tires on vehicles parked outside. They met with them. They offered to get them in. Our church, their rendezvous, is connected with Teen Challenge. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but they have Teen Challenge in Haiti. And so they help youth who have been abusing drugs, alcohol, things like that, or in gangs, just whatever. They offered to get the boys in that. The boys wouldn't show up for it. So it forced the office to move, and so we did move this March. Their office, after 30 years, had to move to a different area of Haiti, and we had to move out of the area we were in as well, which actually is closer to the new office too. So just kind of an idea of how things are impacted, even in communities that around Port-au-Prince. The school is right at the intersection. There's a major road that goes from downtown up to Patienville, which is the wealthier city. And so it's a major road, and our school is right at the intersection of that road and then another major road. And when I say major road, just have to imagine context. We're not talking, just imagine in a developing country, a major road, what it would look like. And so we're not talking stoplights or anything like that. But and so our school is often, we have some issues every once in a while being at that major crossroad where we have to put the kids, lock them in, or, have them go in the buildings, not be outside because of trouble at the intersection, things like that.
Was I going to say something else? Most undoubtedly, but I'm trying to remember the one thing I was... Yeah, we can wrap up here. Any other questions? So some of the things that I'm looking forward to in the future is we're looking at having a young adults and partnering with our church. Resonate and our church are going to have an official partnership, and we're going to have a young adults conference. So this is going to be on training leaders. And so we're really excited about that. We should have about 300 to 400 people attend that. It'll be a great thing. And then I've also been praying, and I don't even know if I've shared this with you, but just talking about one of the atrocities that's happening also is because of the government's breakdown and because of a lot of things, the justice system is a nightmare. And there's oftentimes people in prison for 5 years without having seen a judge or anything. And so I've been thinking about that. The prisons are way packed. Like I said, you could have a minor charge and be in prison for 5 years before even seeing a judge and all that. So I was just thinking about maybe starting a ministry where I teach English to the prison and going in there and just talking to them, because it's not like the U.S. prison. Your family's forced to support you in there. So if you're going to eat, your family has to bring you food and things like that. So it's a really rough place. So I don't know, maybe I'll hit the weights a little bit before I go, but that's been just kind of on my heart too. So, and I'm a bit more confident in my Creole to be able to do that. So, yeah. Yeah. So we have not of course. I feel like this is true of everything, but we've been a little bit off and on communication. We do have a mail list. We send out maybe 3 mails a year, like a letter thing update. So you can you can either email us that or email us your address and we can add you to it. We do about 2 emails a year, and then we're on Facebook. We have a GFAM in Haiti closed Facebook group. So just for security purposes, we always have to stay vague. I'm not like, hey, I'm coming into Haiti on the 7th at 12 at the airport. You just don't give the information out. So, but we do kind of do that, and even you asking that question inspires me to be more faithful in updating that. And so if you want to do that, you can find me on Facebook, just my regular, celebrity account, and I can add you to the Facebook group if you use Facebook. If not, you can just give me your email address, or you can give me your physical address. So those are 3 ways that you can stay contacted. And you guys, as our sending church, a couple of you message me, and it's always really great. If you really want to know how you can help us, even just like pretend we're friends, like send me, post something on our Facebook wall or do something like that, or even send us an email. That you don't know how much that really does make us feel connected and stuff. And so I always said, in high school, you have to be cool and you have to be like, I don't know if you remember, but I remember being in high school, the first day of school, everybody kind of has their head down and is kind of like just getting used to everything. Well, later in my high school years, I said, I'm going to change it up. And so on the first day, I would walk in and I would say, hello, everyone. My name's Johnny. If you want to be my friend, I want to be your friend. I'm just throwing that out there right now for everyone. And, instead of just kind of walking in like, oh, okay, everybody's looking, I was like, just embrace it. So that's what I'm telling to you now. I would like to be your friend. And if you want to be my friend, I'm open to that. So reach out to me, please do. And I'm going to, in a friendship, it should be 50-50, right? But I'm going to put the responsibility on you to reach out first, because you guys are our sending church, and that's the agreement that Brian Tarpey, who's no longer here, put on you guys to fulfill, okay? So take it up with him. Brian, if you ever watch this, Okay. Is that good? Okay, can we have my wife? One of the things that I always want is I want to hear other languages if there's a missionary. So since she is fluent, she just says she's not. But in Creole, they'll say, if you speak really well, they'll say, "U parle tanku rat." You speak like a rat, which is a good compliment. So if you're speaking Creole and they say, "Wow, you speak like a rat," that's like you are really good, right? And so that's what people say about my wife, and she's like, "Oh, I'm not that good." But I'm the one who struggles with pride. I want that. acknowledgement. She's not. She's different. Okay. All right. All of that for her to come up and say something. Do you want to say anything about Haiti? Okay. So she'll close us in prayer, and is that a good? Okay.
So he asked me to pray in Creole, which is always a little nerve-wracking in front of Haitians, but since none of you really know what I'm saying, I don't have to worry. So if you'll bow with me, we'll let the Holy Spirit translate for you. Papa bon Dieu, merci en pile pour l'église ça, pour famille qui nous joignent dans l'église ça. Merci pour tout ça que tu fait pour famille moi, pour nous arriver, nous t'arriver bien aux États-Unis, pour nous faire accouchement bien avec JC, et puis pour tout ça qu'on fait pour famille nous chaque jour. Nous prions pour l'église là, l'église Stephenville CRC, parce que nous apprécions en pile. Nous prions pour chaque famille qui n'a l'église ça. Nous prions pour business, nous prions pour l'école Stephenville Christian School. Nous prions pour tout ça parce que nous peuple ça, c'est un peuple qui adore, qui servi bien, et puis nous apprécions en pile. Merci pour service ça, pour l'église service ça, parce qu'il recevoir nous bien. Nous prions pour qu'il ouvre pour peuple haïtien. Nous prions pour haïtiens qui sont venus, qui veulent entrer aux États-Unis. Nous prions pour eux tout pour servir, pour aider aux jeunes ça au besoin. Merci en pile. C'est dans le nom de Jésus nous prions. Amen.
And I just want to say again, thank you guys so much, just for being with us and supporting us, even if you haven't reached out or anything, knowing that there's a church in Stephenville that's get more weight behind my words with me. So just thank you guys so much. I just want to leave you guys knowing that we are really, really grateful for all that you guys have done, and we look forward to getting to know you guys well, because remember, you have a responsibility to reach out to me, and my wife. All right, thank you guys.